After a very brief hiatus, we have returned with another episode of Savvy Geeks. Going through the entirety of the MCU, we find ourselves on the greatest Spider-Man movie. Yep, that's right. I said it. Before we get into it, though, I gotta be real with you for a second. The last couple weeks, I've been away because I had a gum graft, and it was not a pleasant experience. Do you remember at the end of Endgame? It was where we found ourselves at the beginning of Endgame, where Tony Stark was all sickly and he's just out of it, super weak, skinny. That is where I am now because for 2 weeks, all I could have was soup and applesauce. I never want to have applesauce again. The doctor said that I could have some soft food, but I don't know. I guess I was worried. I only went for the soups, and it was so painful even having the soups. Every time I would have a liquid, I would just my mouth would be on fire because I had a hole in the roof of my mouth. Basically, they cut a hole. They cut the roof of my mouth and took gums out or whatever gum tissue and put it where I had recession. That's just what it was, and it was super super unpleasant for 2 weeks. I'm very skinny. I feel weak, but I'm back. I'm enthusiastic. The only reason I'm enthusiastic when I'm this weak is because we are talking about the best Spider-Man movie. Yeah, that's right. I said it. No Way Home is the best Spider-Man movie. A lot of people might think, oh, it was nostalgia bait. They had Toby and Andrew and Daredevil, and it wasn't actually that good. No, the reason it was good was because of the story. Okay, it was an incredible Spider-Man movie. Yeah, okay. The fact that Toby and Andrew were there added to it, but it's not like it was meritless nostalgia is the word I'm going to use. Those characters had something to contribute to the story, and everything we saw of them, or everything we knew of these two iterations of Spider-Man made it that much more special. But it did still have a narrative purpose. It wasn't just some random slop they put in there to make people be like, oh, no way, I love that Spider-Man, I'm going to watch the movie. A lot of people weren't even sure they were going to be in it. It was an experience to see the No Way Home in theaters because people were cheering, they were clapping, going nuts when Andrew showed up, when Toby showed up, when Daredevil showed up. Like, everybody loved it. It was just such an incredible experience. It's what it's the kind of theater experience that I always remember because I saw Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer was one of my favorite movies. I loved it, but it wasn't the same kind of, if I saw Oppenheimer by myself, it would have been the same experience. No Way Home was the kind of movie you go to the theaters to see because of the whole vibe of the theater, how being with all these people that are just as passionate as you. It was so incredible. Yeah, a lot of these movies are good because you go there. A lot of these movies, you go there because of the sound and the screens, like Oppenheimer, like I just mentioned. But there's another element to that, and it's the moviegoer experience of, like I just described, being there with all these people. It's really special. It's the kind of thing that you remember and stays with you. I vividly remember seeing those movies, like seeing No Way Home, Endgame, Infinity War, the Avengers movies, and I remember the feeling of being surrounded by fans like me and the excitement in the air. It stayed with me. That's what was the most special thing about No Way Home. Now, if we're getting to the nitty gritty of the actual story, it was incredible. It had stakes. It ended with like heartbreak. Peter finally making the big sacrifice and the goodbye he did to MJ. Also, when MJ fell and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man saved her and he couldn't do with his Gwen. There's just so many things that I can talk about that I love this movie. It was so good. It was the best Spider-Man movie, hands down. I think a lot of people can make a case for different Spider-Man movies to be their favorites, but No Way Home was definitely the best. The only issue I have with the John Watts trilogy of Spider-Man is I wish it started from the ground up. I think where we find Peter now, with all this experience he has doing with these aliens and all this crazy stuff, it felt like something like a later Peter should have experienced, and we should have started off with the ground level hero. But hey, it's okay. We found ourselves there now. I just hope that with the multiverse and all this stuff, they don't They don't stray away from where they ended off in this film, where Peter's poor. He's in New York. He's gonna find MJ again, probably. Like, he's definitely gonna find her again. She signed on to do Spider-Man 4, so. But I don't want them to lose sight of what they set up in this film. When he lost his Aunt May, which, by the way, that was all the other Aunt Mays were like grandmas. This is the first Aunt May where it actually like makes sense that she would be that age. Her death hit you so hard. The way they did the spider sense was incredible. The Green Goblin scene, the Doctor Strange scene where he's like, Doctor Strange is like, "How are you doing that?" You know, and he's like, "I don't know." It was awesome. Tom Holland is just such a good Spider-Man. He's quirky, he's goofy, he's brilliant, and all that was in display in this film. The villains were great. Again, it wasn't nostalgia bait. The villains served a purpose. I loved how the other two Spider-Mans kind of had this mentorship relationship with Peter because of their experiences in their previous films, which is why it's not nostalgia bait, because they have a narrative role in the film. They're there to show Peter the path he could be on. Okay, what he can do if he lets his rage take over. Green Goblin, like, I'm staring at my two dogs right now, Peter Parker and Miles Morales. That's what you two are named after, doggies? Yeah, you're named after Spider-Man. He's the best hero. And that's why I named you after him, because I love you, doggies. I really hope we get Miles in the next trilogy. I'm almost certain we're going to get a live-action Miles Morales. He's too popular of a character now to not do that. I feel like with No Way Home, I should give myself more than the 10 minutes, because I have so much to say. I think if we're like tearing it down to the studs and saying specifically what it was that I loved about it, I loved the stakes, the emotional stakes Peter had. I loved the action sequences. I loved Doctor Strange's role in it with all that stuff. And I really loved where Peter Parker ended up. But did I love this film enough to put it in the top 10? That means it would have to beat out one of these movies: Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, Captain America 1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, The Avengers, Winter Soldier, Ragnarok, Civil War, Infinity War, or Endgame. Does it beat out one of those movies? The answer is yes, because No Way Home comes in number 9 on our MCU Power Rankings. Oh, we're getting to the end, my loyal listeners. We only have 4 movies left, and then we're done. I think we're going to end off the year with Deadpool & Wolverine. That'll be our last movie of the rewatch, and it'll be a great way to end the pod for the year. And then we'll take a break until my birthday. Up next on our MCU Rewatch, we have Multiverse of Madness. Stay tuned. I can't wait to talk to you. I'm so happy to be back. I think what we might do is, I gotta see if the sound's okay, but we might do Multiverse of Madness on location at Avengers Campus, because I'm going to California this weekend. Yeah!